Listen, talking about making no sense at all, a couple of sex cases in the courts I'd like to discuss with you this morning as well, along with the inevitable guilty verdict for the Korean kid killer Hak Young Lee. Another in a growing list of women who kill their kids in New Zealand because the children get in the way of their lifestyle. Yes, the good old maternal lifestyle. No. Can I just say, as I watched Hak Young Lee, and she isn't the first, and she won't be the last woman to kill her children in this country because they're in the way, either of a romantic relationship or of a new life, as was the case in this case, or they're just in the way because they're irritating. And can I just say two things? The first thing is we've got to stop this nonsense that women know how to mother. All right? There are literally tens, if not hundreds of thousands of women who haven't got a maternal bone in their body. There is this perception that when women kill, they must be mentally ill, particularly their children, but when men kill children, they're bastards, evil as hell, and should burn there straight away. But that when women do, they've got to be mentally ill. Can I say, it's the worst kind of sexism. It's a sexism, in this case, that protects women from the full consequences of their evil and heinous acts. But it also surely must have dawned upon people, particularly those of us who have had mothers that didn't reach that particular standard, that women are no more maternal than men. It's just that that's their role because they've got the fundamental tackle to do it. But it doesn't necessarily mean that because I can birth a child and I've got a uterus, I would automatically have the psychological ability to be a good mother too. And sort of Hak Young Lee, I accept she's an extreme case. Most people don't drug their children, smother them, presumably, wrap them up less than lovingly, put them in a suitcase and fly out of the country. Most people don't do that. I accept that's a really extreme case. But let's stop this nonsense, shall we? That women are great mothers just because they're women. There are good mothers and there are dreadful mothers. There are neglectful mothers. There are negligent mothers. Look at the children running around society at the moment just quietly. And if there was such a wonderful trench of mothers out there, I would suggest to you we wouldn't have anything like the consequence or social problems that we've got at the moment. I'm bemused by the sexism. I'm bemused by the sexism that because a woman kills her children, she's automatically insane. No, she's not. She's just an evil bitch who should fry in hell in exactly the same way as if a man does. I have to say, I hope she does discover God really quickly, and then we use the death penalty, reequating them as quick as possible. No. There were two other sex cases yesterday also that struck me. And again, the vagaries of the New Zealand justice system. Listen, you won't know, but there's he's known as the Cosy Dell sex attacker. Cosy, as in Cosy, Dell, D-E-L-L. It's a sort of a suburb, a small little place in Dunedin, down in Otago. And he, the Cosy Dell sex attacker, and the anonymous child porn procurer in Auckland, both had their sort of, their news stories appeared yesterday at the same time. And they demonstrate perhaps best the current madness of our justice system. Keith Andrew Wicks Cairns. All right? Wicks Cairns is a hyphenated name. He's a 36-year-old ginger from Dunedin, previously in Invercargill. Red-headed Pākehā, and clearly red-headed. Will go bald early, pasty skin, the type. Yeah, one of those. Anyhow, not Maori, okay? Or Polynesian. Very, 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 very Pākehā. Anyhow, from Dunedin, previously in Invercargill, currently on trial for rape and strangulation. Charges against a Dunedin student who was attacked in her flat at something like 2:30 in the morning. She didn't know him, he just came into the flat in the intent of burgling a student flat in the student quarter of Dunedin, came across her, and the allegations are raped and strangled her. What an appalling experience. And you can only imagine what her parents, I mean, good God, the poor woman, but I mean, her parents thinking, oh, she'll be safe in Dunedin. And unfortunately, cue Keith Andrew Wicks Cairns. Google him. Google Keith Andrew Wicks hyphenated Cairns. And after you've done that and seen the plethora of court and sex charges that he's faced in his relatively tender years, ask yourself a question. Why and how was he on our streets at all? He's pleaded guilty. He's not on our streets at the moment, as I tell you now, because he's on remand in prison. But he has admitted burgling the student flat at 2:30 in the morning. He's admitted 2 counts of sexual violation against the said victim. He just hasn't admitted to the rape and strangulation case, and he's going to be appearing in front of a district court judge, Sol, so there won't be a jury trial to deal with that particular charge. But just cue Keith Andrew Wicks Cairns, and you will understand what I mean about the fact that those people are walking our streets as I talk to you now, and there is no way, zero way, that as long as people walk like him, that walk our streets, any of our people, children, women, and men for that case, would be safe. And then the second case is the wealthy New Zealand family member, one presumes the son, brother of, given a discount on his sentence after being convicted of extreme child abuse material. I think they found about 11,000 images, videos, whole series of stuff. Obviously a hoarder of child abuse material. Now wait for this. He's found guilty, all right? He's found guilty, and in front of District Court Judge Maria Pekatich in the Auckland District Court, she says that he is starting from a position of 5.5 years in prison. Okay, that's cool. 5.5 years in prison. Yeah, that's probably what you expect. You've obviously been hoarding these for a long time. You've been sharing these for lots of other people. It's serious child abuse material. Fine. Okay. But here we go. This is then what Judge Pekatich does. She discounts that 5.5 years prison, including taking note of the fact that his family paid $50,000 to a charity, by 56%. So in other words, she says, you deserve 5.5 years imprisonment, and that's what a normal person would get. But now, because of the whole series of reasons, including the fact, apparently, you've got ADHD. Oh, for God's sake, my son's got HD. Half the boys of this world have got ADHD.